Alrighty, so here's where we left off last time. So this was off our last conversation, and you can see in this diagram we've got organizations that are creators, organizations that are brands or sponsors. They can be linked together as a client relationship. Then the sponsor needs to be able to see all creators, projects, QCs, comments, invoices, accounting, analytics, brand guidelines, marketplace. And then the creator needs to be able to basically schedule to record their ad reads and assign them to projects, etc. Mm-hmm. So this is basically the visual representation of that. So you've got a channel like Theo's, and you've got either he can, like as a creator, you can pitch for business. So you could present to a brand. This would probably be done via email, or you can have a request for an ad spot sent to you by a brand. Yep. Then the brand obviously has its entity over here where it can store its brand assets against it, potentially one day having a creator marketplace, which is where they would be able to request ad spots if it wasn't just done by email. Obviously the stopgap there is email for both of those things, but eventually hopefully to support it. You've got the creator has their media kit, which will be where the brand can see who they are, what they're about, what videos they've done, their engagement, all those sort of things. The brand assets should also be available to the creator when they're creating an ad read if they need a logo or anything. Then we've got, this is just representing the positioning of the ad. So depending on the ad length and the positioning might change depending on what the sponsor wants, what they want to buy, what they want to pay for, because I think pre-roll is obviously more expensive. If they want to get a deal, they'll take the end roll. And then once the ad read is in the video and the video is on YouTube, there'll be some sort of billing component, which is to say it got this many views, we were going to pay this CPM, so here it is. This is just a representation of tracking the views of this one video. It goes into a bucket with all the other videos that a sponsor might have, because usually they'll be promoting something that has a full campaign where multiple creators, and they want to be able to track all of the views across all of the creators. One thing I don't have in here is by using our new short links in the video descriptions, we'll also be able to say not just the money that they made and the views, but the number of clicks split by each person. So you can see exactly what videos contributed the most clicks.
I think that's so cool. Yeah, that'll be super sick.
Then this is just a dashboard sample. So there may be a case where you have consistent channel partners like headline sponsors. I've noticed quite a few channels do this. They might have like a yearly deal with someone. So this is even more common in the physical product space. So you see it in like the forward driving or the mountain biking space, where they'll have like a channel partner who just constantly sends them stuff to use, and they've got some long-term deal there. So whether or not we want to be able to see what videos they're attributed to, like what they've been covered in, we could do that. But essentially for the sponsor here, what they want to be doing is approving ad reads. So they either want to be creating a campaign, or viewing and approving ad reads is going to be their main things. And then obviously looking at the performance of videos across different creators that they've.
Can I ask a question here? Who's the screen for?
This is for the brand, I believe. Or maybe it might be a little bit confused, because channel partners would be for the creator. So this could be either, actually. That wouldn't really matter. The only difference would be for ad reads, it would be like you need to record an ad read. So you'd probably have slots here of like the upcoming ones. Like within the next 2 weeks, you need to record an ad read for this campaign that you've got an accepted bid on. And then also showing what's been approved and what hasn't been approved, so that it can be passed off to the editors to be included in the right video.
Yep. And then a question there is, most likely you've got projects scheduled into the future that you haven't even recorded. So are people able to like buy into those? So there wouldn't even be a thumb. Like it's literally, it's still I'm just thinking.
Yeah. I haven't actually put that into this, but that is essentially this spot, which is like, you've got the projects that are coming up. So this is like the YouTube video channel. When you go to a channel and you see all their videos, it's like the reverse order. It's like what's not come yet, and then further and further into the future. So this is where you would do something like this, where it would be, you don't have any ad slots available here. You do have 2 ad slots available here. You've got ones in this, and they can go and look. And obviously the ones that are further out will have less detail. So they might just be concept, fading off into just ideas. And this is something that I've seen a lot of YouTubers or YouTube sponsor people, educators talking about, is not necessarily having a set project and someone can just buy into it, but actually pitching a project specifically to the brand. So you might create a project with the idea of what you're going to do. Like say you're in the mountain biking space and you want to do, I'm going to go and do mountain bike riding in Derby in Tasmania. I'm going to film this whole series. These are the other people that are involved in it. Do you want to get involved? So you could basically create a project which is just a pitch, and it's not a project that you like have in your pipeline because you're not going to make it unless you get the sponsors. And it's a whole idea that the brand can buy into. So that would be.
Is that really just buying into an idea then? Like in our world, it's like floating the idea.
Yeah, it would be sending the idea as a pitch, saying like, "This is the idea. Do you want to get behind it?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you could create a distinction between the two probably as well.
Yeah.
Sweet.
That's all nonsense. And then we've got a project overview. So is this zoomed in enough on your screen?
A little bit more, yeah. Yep.
So basically this one, I've got to figure out the sidebar, what we want to do there, but this is representative of a project that needs an ad read on it. So we'll have something to indicate what project it is, something to indicate the sponsor or sponsors that are attached, which is the only reason I don't think it's going to work here to have like what the link is between the channel and the sponsor, because to a sponsor, it's many channels. And to a channel, it could be many sponsors because you might have more than one sponsor in the same video. So for a creator, their project side, it'll probably just be a list of where do I have that? A list of the, I don't know, it's around there somewhere. A list of the ad spots. So they need their own entity and what the channel, what the brand is that's buying that slot. But this is some form of overview that I was trying to figure out, which is basically all the things that you would need in this join between the actual project and the sponsored ad slot. So the brand can provide a brief of some kind, maybe upload some files, and then the creator can take that information, take any attachments, any links and assets. So in the links and assets, this would be the easiest way to attach things like, here's our font and logos, but eventually you would want the brand to be able to upload all their brand assets against their account, and then that could just be accessible to the creator when they need it. Then we have the ad type, the ad placement, and the expected publish date, and then potentially some.
Can I stop you for a second? This is the ad read project.
Yep, correct.
So
this is like an early design of it. I'll go to another design in a
So
second.
the project has many of these. They're linked. Yep. They're linked to the project, and then each ad read. Basically, this is like the ad read trying to calculate what, or actually work out what you need to do, how much you're going to get paid for it in here. And that's what we're looking at here. Okay. Yeah.
So if I go into here, so this is our current link to project, but then we would need to sort of upgrade this to accommodate having ad reads.
I'd make it its own thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like a different project type, and you still link it, but it's just linked as an ad read, not to be confused with related projects that are just for your thing. And then, being able to link them, linking a project as an ad read. I guess this probably wouldn't be necessary if the project is created as an ad read project via this other campaign flow.
I think more realistically, what you're going to be doing most of the time is creating the ad read slot. You're creating a slot, which is a project, so it becomes available, because that's the thing you're going to be using to then list as available. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have to say where this thing goes in. So first minute, it's the ad read project, or it's an ad project, and then that thing. So when you're creating a new project, you create your ad slots in it. Those then become available to be purchased. Right? So I think you're going to be creating them most of the time, because then that gives us like what's available. Because you don't create an ad slot and then an ad project. I feel like the slot and the project are one of the same. So you just create, you basically, they're interchangeable terms. Slot and project are the same. It's the way you reference them on each side, I guess. And then people can either then each ad slot can only be one sponsor or advertiser, right? Because you can only have, it's a 30-second read, so you can only have one person, and then those can be filled. So a video can have many ad slots, which is fine.
Yep.
Each ad slot belongs to one sponsor. It makes it very clear, right? You never have this thing of multi. And then a brand can look, when you're looking at a brand for a campaign would have many ad slots projects. So you could go into like your new Spring 24 campaign and you'd see all the projects, which would be each creator you'd see linked and each project so you could review. That is very clean. I think that's how, and you'd mainly be creating. It would be weird to create the slot first and then link to a project. So I think the whole searching, I guess that's why I went off on that tangent, is the whole searching thing. Do you need a search or not?
Yeah, I guess it depends on the way that it's created. So if the sponsor said to the creator, I don't know what projects I want this to go on yet. I know that I need it to be done in December. The projects don't exist yet, but I want you to record the ad read and then we'll figure out the projects later. Then you would go into a project. When it gets closer to December, you go into a project and you just look for an ad read and add it in.
I think it would even be simpler though if you could just, in that flow, you go into the ad and you assign it to a project. Then you don't have to do search, like you're just searching for the project.
You go from the other way. You go
other way around. Yeah.
Because that's how the sponsor would want to do it as well. They'd want to choose from your projects.
Then they can just say, you can say, here's my projects that are up and available. You choose where you want it. And then they go, I want it in that one. Or what day do you want it on?
So an ad slot or a job to record an ad read doesn't necessarily have to be attached to a project. And it can be later.
Because it is a project, right? It's just an ad read project. So it's just a different type of project. So what we'll end up seeing is our project screen will have not just projects, it'll have different types of projects. So it'll be like whatever we call the main one. And then you'll have like ads. But realistically, probably split the screens out because we're going to be internally calling it a project, but we'd probably just call them ad reads or something. And then you just click into that and then that's your projects, and we've just filtered them down by that and keep them separate because you might want to show them in a different way anyway. But I think that's pretty clean.
Sweet. And then we've got create sponsor. So from the creator side, in the early stages, they're probably just going to want to be able to put a brand title and a contact, something to say like, this is the person, this is the sponsor. They don't have an account. They can be invited. They can sign up if they want, but just being able to add something as an attribute against the project to say this video is sponsored by this person.
How do we do that? Because a sponsor is an organization, so you really want to invite them in a way. Like we could. The only conflict is going to happen when you have the same sponsor being added twice into Clipflow. Because we need to maintain one entity. Like you don't like being invited to an app and then you've got 4 accounts for 4 different creators is annoying. You want to have like use my Clipflow account and connect me. I understand that in the beginning that doesn't exist, but in the same sense, like think about just today how we have work that we want to ship out to creators. We've got companies. We're basically going sponsor first. In this flow. So what we would want to do realistically, like I'm just thinking like right now, I want to be able to set up the organization for the sponsor. I then want to be able to ship them a list of creators, like shortlist. Because like this is what Frank's asking me to do right now, right? He's like, send me an Excel document. I'm like, no. In the time, I'd rather just build the thing properly. And then they can look at them and they can vet their accounts. Because then you're basically creating the talent agency tools. I'm just the reason I'm just like we can simplify it as much as we can, and in the beginning, like create sponsor could just be creating an org, and that's fine, and it just sends an invite link. And I get you're not going to get duplicates in the beginning, most likely, so it's probably fine, and it could just be a cleanup job for Clipflow team for us to go. Okay, what's your core? Which one do you want to use as your core, and then we'll move the joins and stuff. Which is it can be unwound. I understand that we want to make it easy. It's just we can't create like this faux entity because everything's going to work around it. Yeah.
More more just create the entity based off the email, but they
Yeah.
don't have to have done anything. Like
Yeah.
to continue that they don't
Yeah.
have to go and like accept something. It just
Yeah.
creates it. And then if two people create it for the same sponsor, they're likely to have the same contact. And even if we didn't do it this way and we made everyone get invited, it's possible people will mess up and two different people will accept an invite for the same thing, create tools.
Same company. Yeah. Especially when you have, if you're going through like agency style, or like you have
Media
multiple
teams
marketers.
and yeah.
So there will be a cleanup crew that'll clean up like flow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So find or create brand, adding the sponsor to the project. This would be if they're existing entities and we wanted to look them up as opposed to just typing it in a string. What's this one? That is not an updated one. That's all that. It's junk. So then this is where it gets reasonably complicated only because I started going as far into the future as possible and thinking about if we needed everything to create a contract on behalf of the creator, if a creator wanted a contract, what would everything we need be? So basically we have the sponsor that's assigned. We have the type of ad. Now, all of these things, they get pretty complex in how it needs to be done, just based on there could be a sponsor who doesn't care if it's a 30 or a 60 second, but they just want to spend a certain budget. Or it could be someone who only wants 30-second pre-rolls at a flat fee. Do they want flat fee plus cost per milli? Do they want cost per action and flat fee? All of those sort of things. So these can be as simple for now as we want or as complex, because you could essentially just put a number in to say estimated revenue, and it's $3,500 based on what we've said. So if you had the deal all orchestrated outside of the platform and you just wanted to put a number in, you could just put a number in and it would give you a rough idea. But if you wanted to get like really down into the weeds, then you start getting cost per action is a flat fee or a percentage. It gets paid on signups to service name, or we require a link to track this properly, depending on what we want to do. Commission rate, same thing. Maybe we require a link to be pasted in here that we can then put into the descriptions later. Or
You know what I reckon you do here? This is almost a tool you could do for free as a lead gen, and it's a contract sponsor. It's a contract generator, and it doesn't sit inside a Clipflow, and then all that Clipflow is in the project. You upload the agreement, you attach agreement, and then you can, because then we can just generate the agreement. Obviously, we get it lawyered and whatever, and then you look at that, and it's like it generates the agreement for you as a creator, and then it kind of covers you. Because I think that's one of the biggest things: people getting stuffed and screwed. Like, you make sure you're not following the right things. That it's not fair for
like
both
not
sides.
knowing what to ask for.
Yeah.
Half the time. Like,
So that could be an interesting lead gen tool.
Yeah. And then this also can come from either side. So when the sponsor's creating a campaign, they might say, I want these deliverables, I want to pay in this way, and then people could accept potential contracts based on that as well. So they could, instead of the creator creating this to say, I just want this attached to my project, the sponsor could say, I need 50 people. These are my terms. Who wants to pick it up? And someone can go, oh, yeah, I'll do that. And they just pick up the job.
So what you do is, this is all project setting. These are all on the ad read project itself. You don't need to have like on a join or anything. It just is on the project. And then realistically, what the sponsor could do is, like, on the sponsor side, if you want to do 10 of them, that's where it's going to get interesting. It's like, how do you ship it to multiple people? Like, you almost need like a proposal, and it's like you accept the proposal, and the proposal then finds the sponsor's campaign and creates a new project and links it to that all automatically. And it's just like, I will pick this up, and then it creates the project from, because like the proposal, you don't want to have to create 50 of them. You want to create one proposal as a brand, and like, these are my terms. Who wants it? Because where I see Clipflow really in an interesting play is, a lot of people go for the bigger creators. Like, I showed you that stat where it shows like you could hire Kim Kardashian for like, what was it, $1 million or something, or $10 million?
Probably more, probably 10.
Yeah, one thing, or you could get 10 at this, or you could get 50 or you could get 500, and it's that micro influencer. And obviously people are like, oh, well, it's really hard to manage that. And I'm like, well, that's an opportunity, because like, how could you as a brand that doesn't have that much money but be like, I'm going to just throw $100 at 100 creators, and like, yeah, maybe some of them don't hit, but some of them might. And it's like,
you're increasing your chance of getting a viral hit massively.
Correct, right? Like, if the creator makes a video that doesn't work and doesn't go viral, you've actually stuffed all that money. So it's an interesting way. It's like, how can you facilitate that in a way that it's like, because the key things are like, the brand's worried about, the creator, it might not be the right for them. It could be not safe. Like, it's not a safe provider. So those are the kind of problems you got to figure out. It's like, how do we say that this is actually a safe creator? And then from there, figuring that out, because then you can create like this kind of proposal, and then people can just come and pick it up, and then you have this little place like, I just want to grab that deal, I'll work on it, and that's how I make my money. I just do heaps of these micro deals. So it's an interesting concept. We're just trying to figure out how to actually make it so you can like throw out a proposal. Like, that's like I guess like another kind of model. It's like a ad proposal, and these are the terms
from the sponsor. I saw an interesting one similar to that the other day. I don't know if you've seen him on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or anything, but there's this dude who plays a really annoying rich European kid. Like, it's his character that he does. And it's like super obnoxious rich European kid.
I have seen him. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, it's sort of a piss take, but now he's like doing quite well for himself in New York. But his platform is basically sort of doing the same thing, in that brand deals in general got too big and too expensive that only big creators were worth spending money on. He's going the other way, which is like creating heaps of micro influencers. So he's in New York, and he's like, if a cafe on the Upper East Side wants to use social media marketing, if they want to use influencer marketing, it's too expensive. So instead, they put all their products into a platform where it's like, based on your audience size, the micro influencer can say, I'll do a post about your cafe. I just want $30 worth of food. Like, I want to eat lunch there, and I'll post about it, and like sort of turning it into that micro, really high transaction volume market where the brand or the cafe, because it's not worth it to them to spend 10 grand on the thing, but just trading some of their cafe food, they definitely do that. And it's doing that, turning it into a market where you can actually use smaller people, and smaller people can profit from it a bit better, which is what this could do as well. You just make it possible for anyone who's making a video based on their average view numbers to say, I want to do it. And we calculate, we say, like, based on your last 10 videos and the number of views you got, the sponsor is going to pay this much money.
Yeah, definitely.
And they can just choose to pick it up or not.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just even look at people that contact me. It's like, I'm tiny, and they contact me and they still want to do deals, and they have to go and find me. They have to do all the work, and it's like, you can just be available, mark yourself as available, and then do it.
Or just go to work,
or go and troll through the listings. Like, they're platforms like this. They exist. They do exist. So it is a thing. It's just how do you? I just think all the concept is, how do we create an ad proposal that a brand can create, and then send it and kind of say, like, be free, and then people can find them and take them, and you have to be signed up to Clipflow to do so. That's just like a really cool way.
I think by clarifying all of the terms, the average amounts people are getting, it removes a lot of that, like, I don't know if I'm charging too much or too little. So the creator doesn't get scared of that. All the terms are established for them, that this is what everyone else is already accepting for this same campaign. Like, you don't have to worry about, am I getting screwed over by the brand because everyone else is doing it at the same terms. That could be really powerful as well, making it all really clear. And that's sort of what this stuff all is: exclusivity periods, brand gets approval on final media, input restricted. There's that.
This is a contract.
Go down a rabbit hole of settings. Yeah, essentially.
This is a contract.
Just can go down a rabbit hole. Delivery timelines. You'd have media review timeline. So when we're expected to get the draft media to review by, and then you could have. You'd have like turnaround times. So the brand is expected to turn around a review within this time period, which would protect the creator, which is like, I got you the thing at this time, you didn't review it and it missed the video. And then you're trying to say that I'm not going to pay as much because you missed the video when it's your fault. So you could protect both people in that regard by upholding turnaround times.
That's a sick tool by itself. Yeah. And then you just attach that to the project. Job done.
Yeah. You can just go through it. That's the same stuff. Yep. Okay. So we can go to
Campaign.
this is this is what I was working on today. So this is creating a campaign, what the deliverables will be, preferred positioning, channels. This is like later on down the track, probably have like if you were creating a proposal, you say I'm only after YouTube video ad spots, or I'm after short form video or something like that. What you're willing to pay, the draft due dates, publish dates. And I haven't updated all of these, but attachments, examples of the ad reads, things that you should avoid, stuff like that. Then we've got the start of the deal flow stuff. So this is from a creator side, but none of these tiles are updated. But this is basically, I was just starting to look at what my revenue pipeline looks like for the next 12 months, because I think most people probably don't have a good view of this. Like if you're just working off, I just invoice this much at the end of the month and I'm happy to see that. You can't make good long-term decisions. Should I hire another person? Well, yes, I can afford it because my projected income for the next 12 months is X, Y, Z based on all these accepted things. Have to figure out the statuses for these. So new, contacted, in progress, proposed, accepted, closed. I've got like new, qualified. Qualified would be you might as a creator have terms where you're like, I won't work with gambling, I won't do this, and they need to answer these 5 questions before I'll do a thing for you. So you could essentially do a questionnaire for the sponsor and try and match people based on that. So you do it on both sides. You're like, as a creator, you do the ad safe stuff that YouTube does. So I don't know if you've ever seen when you're publishing a video from a monetized channel, there's another step in the wizard and it's like, this doesn't feature guns, it doesn't feature violence, it doesn't fit, and it's like the content tagging system, so they know what ads to show. So you essentially do that on the creator side. So then the sponsor goes, I only want people that are safe in these categories, and then the sponsor on the other side can say, I don't want to promote gambling, I don't want to do this, and they just automatically don't get matched based on that or qualified. Then in progress would be, I guess, negotiation, saying like, I want to do it, blah, 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 making the thing. It's like, it's tough with this exact pipeline just because it's quite different from how a HubSpot or a Salesforce pipeline would generally work for a sales team.
Which is perfect.
It's like, it's a little bit different. I'm sure you can configure those tools to do it, but it's, we've got to figure it out.
That's exactly what you want. You want to build for YouTube.
Yeah, probably based on user feedback, we can figure that stuff out. And then what's that? That's Trello. This is I started working on pricing calculators. I'm not sure how I feel about these ones. I'd prefer to just show an average based on the data we have. I feel like I haven't actually verified it, but I feel like the calculator would always be wrong and always undervalue the creator, which I don't really want to be doing. I don't want to be saying like, here's a price calculator and it's like, this is what you'd get on average, but the average is dangerous for a creator because if you have a really good strategic fit with a brand, they can pay way more because it's worth heaps of money to them. So if you're a builder and the home building company is going to pay you $1,000 per click to their website because they know they convert 1 in 100 people and each business is worth like $1 million, then you kind of shoot yourself in the foot by giving them a rough price. So not 100% sure how I
think it's something you can come later. Like you can figure it out. Like you can say, we have a lot of data. This is roughly what you should be looking. This is the mid, this is the low, and this is the high kind of tier. I don't even think average is worth it, to be honest. I don't think you even bother because average is crap. You either just fall between these two marks and whatever you think's fair. Then everyone can play whatever they think's fair, what they think they're worth, Yeah. So, that's cool.
Yep. And then this is the media kit one. So I've just been updating it to try out like different channel cards to show what they're getting on each channel. Bio. I've got a whole bunch of stuff to add to this. This is all based off what I was saying the other day, trying get Poppy and getting it to listen to all of those YouTube videos. And then I was like, put together the list of things that it should have. So it was like a Katie Streckley video, Justin Moore, etc. They're all the experts. They were saying what should be in your creator kit, the media kit. So I'll keep working through that one. Brand kit, I haven't done yet, but basically the brand can upload their logos, font files, images, links, don't talk about this in our videos, blah, blah, blah. And then this one, you've seen this one, but this was the submissions of ad reads. So none of the actual UI is worked out for this one, but this was the concepts around a sponsor proposal. So that's the proposal. Do you want to do it? Do you not want to do it? It's got an ad type, 30 second, 5,000 plus a $45 CPM. Positioning can be any. And then you could send the proposal, accept it from the other side if you want to send it to like a specific person. And this is where you would be like, if you didn't want to send it to a specific person, you would choose to send it out to the market with these criterias. I want people in these categories, and I don't want people who talk about X, Y, and Z.
So I think you'd have send and you'd have publish. I think you can publish it like basically, or it's private. It's basically, think of the same concept. It's like unlisted or publish. And publish comes later anyway, because it's like when you have a marketplace, you can publish it.
Because what we'd probably do to start is
sick. Like there are other marketplaces to connect creators and stuff, but like for YouTube, it feels really cool. Like it feels like a really good product. Like, and my other thing was, can talent agencies plug into this and use this tool easily? Like just use it.
Well, yeah, I guess so. If they were
multi-channel.
Yeah. So if this sponsor proposal was sent to the creator, and you were a talent manager for many creators, you would see all the proposals in your dashboard. I guess you'd be like, you could manage it. Whether or not that's like, realistically, you probably want to restrict it so the creator can't see it and it doesn't bother them, and only the talent manager sees and manages it. Whether or not you'd want to get that far into the weeds of having a special setting, which is I own this part of their process, they're not allowed to see it, I don't know. But maybe they just never go to the proposal screen because they have a brand manager who goes to that screen for them. But essentially, I don't see why you wouldn't have someone who is a part of all those organizations with that role.
I don't think there's ever a reason. Like, this is all about transparency. Why should you not see what you're getting in? Like, why should someone have control over the top of you? What you're paying them for is doing all the work. It's the back and forth. Vetting. It's all that stuff. It's like even just getting the sponsor to send, because like, let's be honest, they're not sending you proposals. That's not going to happen. Realistically, the flow is going to be your talent agencies going out, finding these people and collecting them like Pokemon. That's what's happening. That's the real world. Until this thing is enormous, then the dynamic can change. But you want to see everything, because like, I want to be able to go, oh yeah, cool, and then like quickly look at it and go, no, I don't want to do that, and then it just saves everyone time. It's like, if I can be bothered, I look at it. If I can't, I can't. But it's there in Clipflow, and you can just go, let me see. Oh, what's up coming up? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's not
it's likely that the talent manager would be shortlisting stuff for you. So they'd be proposing the other way. They'd be proposing from the channel out to the brand with the media kit, and then shortlisting what came back, and then showing you the shortlist and saying, can you just go through that and tick off the ones that you want to do, or pick the ones you want to do and add them, start recording ad reads, convert them to projects.
Yeah, as long as they've been actually accepted on both sides. That whole acceptance on both sides.
I think it can be a very, very cool tool. What we'll probably come up against is like, it's just for YouTube. I also need to book my other projects, and then we'll be
you
can do that.
You can do that. The thing is, we have every platform listed from day one. The only thing that we're going to need to work on there is getting analytics in. Like, that's the only thing. It's like connecting. So it's like, if you see a demand coming up, the only difference with shorts, like any other platform, it's about short form. So it's not like, obviously you don't have a slot, because you can't have a slot in the 30 seconds. You are the ad. The whole thing is the ad.
Yeah. So there's one of the sections on that previous form. I have like 30 second, 60 second full video, because obviously YouTubers do full video activations too. So it would just be the placement, like the channel
is full video.
So you say this is a full video for Instagram, then obviously
dedicated,
that the whole video is going to be doing it. And then you could record it inside an ad read project, or you could have it just be, if it's full video, it's a normal project on whatever channel.
Yeah. But you just that's an interesting one for us to handle.
Yeah. So that's sending the sponsor proposal, then obviously the proposal this UI doesn't exist, but this is just how I'm like mentally thinking about it, because there's a lot of essentially messaging back and forth. He presents the outline back to the person, sends it back to them, then outline gets approved, accepted.
Do you do it
by
like that though? Because the
sponsor.
outline would be in the project, right?
Yeah, correct.
So
But if
why
we want to
you-
be able to have approvals on it, it'll probably be on a separate page when it's sent to the sponsor to say like, read this and approve it.
Yeah, so I think inside the project, you wouldn't hit send message here. You'd have it in the ad read project. You'd hit send for approval, and then that would just create like a note or a message, an email that just says, please approve this. And then we just have to be able to lock it down once it's approved. So that's easy to do. We just turn it into read-only mode once it's been locked down or approved. And then if you want to create a new one, you have to just hit new outline so that you can actually script around
and
it.
then if it requires approval, then you can't proceed to the next steps. You know that you're not going to be able to proceed. And then same thing, video would come in, video would go through our normal media review thing, but go to the sponsor instead of someone in the team.
What you're creating here is an activity page. Realistically, it's an activity log.
Yeah, it's like turning activity to look like a chat. Because I know we sort of spoke about having in-app messaging, which this is where I ended up like doing this design, because I was thinking about how we would do that in a normal project. Like if a media comment came in, could it go into an activity timeline of the whole project? And it would be somewhat similar to this. That's where this
Like a
design
notification.
was so, and then this is the full thing. So the team initiated the proposal. I sent the video brief. It's accepted. Sounds good. There's the outline. Approved. Accept the proposal. Do the media. Approve. And I think that's as far as that got. But essentially, that would then give you the option to put it into the project if it wasn't already attached to a project.
Yeah. What about do the brands have to approve the full project as well?
I think that would be up to whatever the deal looked like. There would be a lot of cases where that wouldn't be given, but some might. Where's the
Even just seeing it.
Yeah, just being able to watch it. You don't get final approval, but you get to watch it first. And then after that's done, based on the deal with the creator, it's quite common that the brand will want to be able to repost the ad read on their own channels. So that might involve repurposing, creating an Instagram project, and then posting to their Instagram from within this, which would create like a really weird ecosystem flywheel where like, I post all my ad slots in here from here, and then the brands are like, well, I may as well just pump everything through here. I want all my creator stuff coming to the one spot, because then you get all the ad reads in one spot, and you can schedule them out to your Instagram or whatever from there to say like, post all these ad reads out.
Okay, cool, awesome. Well, I think that video,
that's pretty much it.
That looks
How
sick.
long is that?
All right. Well, that recording's really getting super long. It looks really cool. So yeah, we'll just then now go in and actually cut it back to what we can do. What's the minimum project here? And I think because obviously a lot of stuff's still manual in this day and age until you've got that critical mass. So how can we facilitate and make all that kind of management much simpler? So what we'll do is we'll get user feedback here from some of our talent agencies and some of our creators who do ads, and then see and refine from there and then start implementing. So it looks really cool.
Boy.
Thanks, Daryl. Cheers, brother.